right, Corey. Let's move on. We're gonna keep doing things out of order. We're gonna talk Trials of Osiris.
Trials
of Osiris. Again, this is something we had planned to address on Tuesday, and we were not able to. This is a massive blog post. This could have been a Schwab all on its own.
Right.
Trials will not go live until September 10th. But if you are a Trials novice, here's a quick breakdown of what to expect. We want to make Trials more accessible no matter your skill level or fire team size. We want to make Trials more rewarding, whether you're winning matches or earning reputation with Saint. We want to make it more engaging, testing out changes to elimination and reintroducing labs to Destiny 2. So let's talk here. The goals that they have for the Trials revamp: get more people playing, doing something besides flawless or bust, feeling like they can win more often, feel like the rewards are on par with other similar endgame activities, and embracing movement, conflict, and resolution during a match. Going forward, there are weekends that Trials will not be around. Specifically, there will be multiple weeks in a season, and that is no Trials will take place while Iron Banner is up.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Right?
I like that because what it was doing is it was just leaving the super sweaty guys in Trials.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. They only want one.
See, I really liked playing Iron Banner when Trials was going on, because that means all the people that are good at PvP went to Trials, and I got to win some things.
R.I.P. R.I.P. my friend. Hopefully we get the Iron Banner rework here pretty soon. They said that was next on the list. No Trials for week 1 in the season or before a raid Worlds first. Week 1 should be about exploring new content, features, and tunings, as well as finding and using the new weapons and exotics. All future seasons starting this season. So when we get our first, I suspect we're getting our first Iron Banner next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I suspect we're getting it, or they're holding it until after week 1 of Trials. I can't imagine you bring Trials back for 1 week and then it's Iron Banner time.
Yeah. Wait, when did Iron Banner start on? It's the first week of the month, right? That's usually when it starts, right?
Sure.
I don't know. I
don't know.
It used to be, but then
I suspect Iron Banner is starting at reset on Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Access is much easier now. Reduced requirements for Trials access quests to use lifetime Valor ranks and kills, which should open Trials to more long-term Crucible dabblers. Trials now allows queuing and matchmaking without a full fire team. We want people to earn rewards even if you do not have a fire team. You can enter it solo or with a friend, and matchmaking will fill the rest of the team for you.
That's interesting.
There will be freelance Trials, solos only, and will be available via Crucible Labs. Going flawless on your own will be hard to impossible. We're sure somebody will do it thanks to other players they match up with. And honestly, my favorite change to all of this, including the rewards, is Trials now requires the annual expansion to play. Thank God. Thank God. So if you want to play Trials on September 10th, you got to have Beyond Light.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play it starting on February 22nd, you got to have Witch Queen.
That's good, right? Because
that's fantastic.
Isn't this to kind of help battle cheating a little bit, right? Because
it definitely does, because it slows down the speed at which cheaters can make alternate accounts.
Right, and then you have to pay for the expansion on top of that. That kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. So I like that change. Big change. Some Crucible rules that have changed for Trials. Round time has been reduced by 30 seconds. So down from 120 to 90 seconds. Stalling the wait for ability energy is not fun for either winners or losers. It will not eliminate stalling, but will lessen the amount of stalling that can take place. Emotes will stay in first-person camera, and swords cannot be equipped unless you have ammo. That has also been applied to Elim and Survival. No more 3-peaking, my friends. It has finally happened. You love to see it. We, of course, knew about that change back in February. It's nice to finally see it, though. Mm-hmm. Special and heavy no longer carries over between rounds either. That was another one. It was ridiculous when I was able to store up 8 Jotun shots.
Yeah.
That just simply should not happen to anybody. And I like what they say here. Having the winning team keep all collected ammo, but losing team gets set back to default creates too big of a snowball advantage. It really, especially when we're talking things like shotgun ammo too.
Right.
So I like that. But of course, what everybody wants to hear: rewards and reputation. Trials tokens are gone. They're completely gone. Adept weapons will continue to require a full flawless passage to be earned, but Saint is getting ranks, reputation, and a rewards track similar to the other vendors. The peak they give us here shows a Prime Ingram. It shows upgrade modules, 3 enhancement prisms, the Eye of Soul sniper, upgrade modules again, Igneous Hammer, and of course an Ascendant shard at the end.
It looks pretty similar to the other ones, right? Except it has trials gear in place.
This makes me very hopeful for it to the Gunsmith and to Saladin coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're really the last 2 vendors we haven't gotten this with that desperately need it.
Right.
Rep is gained at match complete based on the number of rounds won on your ticket. Tickets 20 round wins now. Emphasizing winning individual rounds for the core rewards gives every player more achievable goals at all skill levels. Since you don't have to win full matches to get rewards, you always have a reason to keep trying, even if you are behind. Ranking up gives you a Trials Ingram. Powerful Ingrams show up every 3 rank ups before your first round of the season. Just like other ritual reputations, there are other rewards to earn every 3 ranks. And Trials has one of the unique Trials weapons at rank 10 and 16 for each of the first 3 resets of Season 15. So I have a feeling that you may get Eye of Soul and Igneous on your first run through. And then I think after that, once you've reset with Saint, I think that those weapons may change.
Yeah.
To give you a chance to get like the whole suite.
Yeah. That would make sense, right? I mean, that would keep people playing, right? I mean, if you're gonna switch up the weapons, that would give you something to chase at least.
I'll tell you right now. Like I have the full armor set for this iteration of Trials, and I have a good roll on almost every Trials weapon, with the exception of I do not have the rocket launcher, and I'd like to get a new roll on Summoner when it's put back into the loot pool.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a new linear fusion for this season in Trials, which presumably will be the first weekend weapon.
Right.
I enjoy seeing this. It does look like the weekly bounty, the weekly like pity bounty, has been retired. But I don't know for sure. I'm gonna have to. We'll keep reading on this article. I haven't seen anything on it or anybody raising an uproar. It just may simply not be on that sample screen they gave us. But let's talk passages for a minute. One of the most restrictive things about the Trials system was the emphasis on winning and winning often to get any rewards. While winning matches will still pave the road to the lighthouse, we've made changes to let players enter the activity and earn rewards without having to reset all the time. Passages no longer track losses. A passage is either flawless or not. This allows you to keep playing and earning match and round wins for rewards. Players may continue to reset their passages after a loss, but are no longer forced to after 3 losses total. They will track up to 20 rounds won, and it's rounds, not matches.
Right.
Rounds.
Right.
Which is nice. You like to see that. Passages have been reordered. Mercy is now not super useful unless you are trying to go flawless, and have all had their prices significantly reduced. Indeed, it is now 10,000 Glimmer instead of like 30,000.
Right.
To get a passage. They are now account wide. You can play and earn rewards on any of your characters on the same passage. I like to see that too. That makes me more willing to boot up another character and try and maybe earn some Trials armor for my Warlock.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking about trying to play as a different character, just because this season's so long that like when the Witch King comes out, I want to be able to switch characters, right? If we want to like raid and say, like, hypothetically, say we get really good at the raid or whatever, or we want to play Trials or Iron Banner or something, like if I get like a full set of things on my Titan, I want to be able to go back in and be like, hey, we can still keep going because I feel more compelled to get the rewards, right? And I think this is good. Definitely good.
Yeah. I think these are all just fantastic changes here. Each week there are 2 pinnacle challenges for Trials. Win 7 matches total on a given weekend. Win 50 rounds. Both of those are attainable for decent PvP players, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like decent. I think the 50 rounds thing is definitely doable.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, like,
because it's not matches, it's rounds, right? I mean, it's just rounds. Like,
yeah. So you got to win 53 on threes now. That is a lot. They're expecting you to play a lot of trials. Ironically, winning 7 matches total may actually be your better one, because you could hypothetically reset your card after you get your first win. Just like reset and then go back in. With 0-0. I don't know. Like, I'm sure that one is the more attainable one, but 50 rounds really is not that bad in the scheme of things.
Right.
But they are trying to provide incentives for you not to reset. So, bonus progress based on the number of wins on your card. 3, 5, 7 win challenges have been removed. Once you max out reputation, you can reset and claim an Ascendant Shard or an exotic Ingram. Ranks and rewards will reset every season. We want players to keep going deeper into their cards, though, so match wins on a 7-win card have a chance to drop extra Trials Ingrams, Masterwork materials, and high-stat Trials armor, and the Lighthouse experience is not going to be changed. Unique Pinnacle Adept weapon each week the first time you visit on your account. All mods and cosmetics are available in the chest to reward return visits. But let's talk this Trials Ingram. This is the biggest change right here. As mentioned above, we'll be overhauling Trials Ingrams to give players more direct ways to earn Trials rewards. They now decrypt to a random selection from current armor and non-adept weapons. You do not need to unlock a piece of armor or a weapon before it is in your Ingram pool. You can focus your Ingrams at Saint 14 to decrypt specific items you have already received. If you've gone flawless that week, you can focus additional drops of the weekly adept weapon, but expect it to be a bit expensive. I am personally really excited for this because, like I said, I look at the pool that's here, and outside of the fusion and the rocket launcher, I have everything that you can earn in trials. So I personally want to try and get the linear fusion. The linear fusion is what I care about. Like, I'm going to dump a lot of mine into that, trying to get a good roll on that. But I mean, the sword is it. So it looks like the initial pool is going to have this current set of armor. It looks, I can't really tell what the first weapon is, but I think it's the rockets. No, that's, it might be.
The first weapon?
No.
The first weapon looks like a submachine gun.
It's not the SMG. The SMG is down right next to the linear fusion.
Okay, so.
It does look like an SMG. That may be there as like the adept weapon. Because it is a different shade, but I do agree with you. It looks like it. So let's assume for now that's the adept weapon. So it looks like the initial weapons in the pool are going to be Eye of Soul, sniper rifle, messenger, pulse, igneous hammer, hand cannon, Solace Scar as the caster sword, Shayura's Wrath as the SMG, and the new linear fusion, which I had the name of it pulled up. Somebody already has it from saving a Trials Ingram from last week. It is Reed's Regret. So I like this, being able to focus your Ingrams. Now, I want you to... This looks like a really good system in theory. If this works, please expand this out to the other vendors.
Right. Seriously.
So I can focus my Ingrams on some of these playlist specific... I mean, imagine if you could focus drops on Zavala. You did the Grandmaster Nightfall for this week. You can get additional drops for a huge price of the adept weapon.
Right.
That you unlock. But you had to have completed the Grandmaster that week in order to get that.
Right.
I think that would be fair.
Yeah.
Or just let me, as these weapon pools continue to grow, let me specifically calibrate what I want. And I think it's less abrasive in some modes than others. But there's some like Gambit. Remember the bottom dollar fiasco where everybody was trying to get that and the drop rates were so abysmal. I think we want to avoid that, and especially in things like Iron Banner where the loot pool is so massive. Let us focus those. I won't be focusing too often. It'll be in a pinnacle activity like this if I do. But this is taking the idea of what we get from the chests at the end of Vault and Deepstone now, and kind of applying that elsewhere. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, because when we ran Deepstone, one of the conversations we had during that set of episodes or whatever was like, you get spoils, right, from the raids, but like you can only spend them at the raids. I would I would just like to see a combination of things expanded into the other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That was just I just remembered talking about that. So
yeah, big fan of that though. Really like that. God, we're almost at the end. Thank the
Are
Lord.
we? Are you sure?
We really are. We really are towards the end.
Because we still have a TWAB to go through, Josh.
Well, I'm talking about the trials already.
I know.
We're towards the end of the trials
already. I know.
I'm gonna need like a glass of water so my throat doesn't go dry.
This is gonna be about as beefy as that raccoon I sent you.
Dude, that fucker. Guys, so I tweeted out right before we started something Corey told me. He was describing a raccoon that animal control got out of his house. And he goes, you have to see this beefy fucker. And let me tell you something. That thing is like as big as my torso, and that's terrifying.
Dude, it's so big.
I am not a small man, okay? And neither was the guy carrying this thing either. It was genuinely terror. I would be, if I saw that in my house, I'd be like, nope, that's it. We're selling it and moving. The raccoon can have everything in there. We're leaving. The raccoon now has a PS5. I'm not even joking. Like, if I go in there, I'm going in there with a fucking gun. Like, that's how bad it is.
I think it was big.
Matchmaking. Too often, flawless or bust players get mixed in with players that have different goals and skill set, and the misalignment causes problems. You will now start matchmaking with players that have the same number of wins on the card and with similar trials game performance of the given week. We have a bunch of different factors playing, and we'll be watching and tuning these to balance match quality versus matchmaking time. If matchmaking takes too long, it widens the similarity check until it finds enough opponents for the match to start. Because I'm getting tired of matching up double gilded flawless guys when I'm on like my first round of the week.
Are you sure? Sounds like a good prep session.
No, it's fucking awful, and this is why people hate trials. And then of course we read this out loud during the broadcast on Tuesday. The help article went up, but just in case you missed this, or if I'm misremembering, BattleEye anti-cheat is part of the game now. There are initiatives they're taking outside of the game to ban people. Win trading, account recoveries are completely bannable offenses now. So yeah, it sounds awesome. There's some stuff in here about Trials Labs. They're going to have some opportunities for us to try out some new game modes. Really encourage you to go read that section. Maybe check those out. I'll be in playing around in Trials Labs. If I happen to be home or available on a given weekend, I'll be playing around in there. And who knows? Maybe you'll see me in trial, whoop my ass, which is not hard to do. Do you have any thoughts on Trials, Corey? I shared a lot of my thoughts on the major changes we knew that were coming back on Tuesday, but you don't really dabble. You ever dabble in Trials?
I've played
Destiny 2 Trials.
No, I've played Destiny 2 Trials It was, dude, it's been years, but I mean, this makes me want to kind of get back into it, just because, like, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit on what's today, Thursday, on Tuesday before the raid, and like, just because, like, I've been doing so much the last like year or so in terms of podcasts and stuff and editing and all the stuff, that like my time with gaming in general has been limited, let alone Destiny.
Right.
And now that like I'm kind of just focusing on the Destiny stuff that we're doing, and just trying to, because like I realize that I am probably not the ideal person to be hosting the show, right? Like, I mean, I love doing it, right? Like I want to be here. I want to be invested in Destiny, right? Which is why I've made a lot of changes to be more proactive about this show and the game, and being able to just talk about stuff in general instead of just letting you go on a rant, which, don't get me wrong, I love your long explanations, Josh, but like once in a while I'd like to contribute and actually like know what I'm talking about, right? And I kind of had some frustrations on Tuesday when we were about to do Vault, right? And like I didn't have like specific weapons or specific roles on weapons or anything, and like that made me really frustrated because like I feel like I was letting people down in a way, and like I know I really kind of wasn't, and I know like the whole point was to like just go do Vault with me for the first time in D2, the D2 version of Vault.
Mm-hmm.
But like I still feel like if I'm not prepared, I'm letting people down. And like I've made all these changes. The point is like I'm gonna have more time to do trials, and like the fact that there's matchmaking, and like my schedule is always weird anyway with work, and I can only play at like certain times and between certain times, and the fact that there's matchmaking, if I can't get 3 people, or I can grab you and play, or like my buddy Mitch that I play a lot with on the weekends, and we can actually go in and try. Like this has me more excited, and you know, I want to be more invested in all aspects of Destiny, not just you know, doing my Pentacles for the week, or going into Crucible and getting that Pentacle, or you know, doing the Nightfall, or doing the story missions or whatever. Like I wanted raiding this week made me realize how much I miss, I guess, quote unquote, real Destiny, right? Like, not that like the other aspects of the game aren't real, but like the end game of Destiny, the end game content, the challenging aspects of Destiny, chasing the roles, chasing the guns. Like I was so excited when I got Vision of Confluence and Fatebringer with Firefly on it. I was like, you know, I wasn't just happy that I got those weapons. I'm like, dude, I got some pretty good rolls on these weapons. Like, I don't really need to chase these weapons.
And you really did.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's what it is. And like, Destiny is a game that like we talk so much about how the game has evolved, and you know, we go back to armor mods, you know, and we see how they were in Forsaken, and you compare that with how builds are now, and it's like light and day. I mean, we have, you know, we have Warmind cells, we have Elemental Wells, we have Charged with Light, we have seasonal mods that we're applying. Like, you have to have certain elemental affinities on your armor. You know, you have to really think about like what kind of build you want to craft.
Yeah.
You know, what plays to your strengths, things like that. You know, masterworking is more important than ever. Before, it used to just be like kind of a way to flex.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, you like really need to be masterworking, like at your armor, especially. Like, you want that extra 10 stat points, but on top of that, you don't just want that. You want all 10 slots, because you're going to use it for, you know, use it for your mods. You know, you want to be pulling your mods out of your seasonal artifact. And that's, to me, that's part of the great puzzle. I'm really intrigued to see where we go forward. We're going to kind of get into that, to build crafting here with this TWAB, because the TWAB has a lot to do with that in a way. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because we're about to talk. We're about to talk how Destiny's changed a lot since Forsaken.
Yeah. And
how they're basically doing subclass 3.0.
Yeah.
Going into year 5.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say before we moved into the TWAB, like, I realized, and I've seen some feedback towards me specifically on this show. Like, I understand that, like, I haven't, like, it just because I've been so spread thin, like, I just haven't been as invested as, not that I'm not invested in the show, just like haven't been as invested in Destiny as I needed to be. But my goal is to make this show with Josh the best show it can possibly be, and I'm more invested now than I've ever been in Destiny, and I just, you know, part of that is like I'm sorry, Josh, that I haven't been as invested, you know, and I know this kind of just sounds like a rant, whatever, but you know, I just
this is a place for us to speak our minds.
Yeah, and I want to be more invested for you, for everybody listening, for you know, the people that we play with, and you know, this is never been a better time to get more invested, I guess.